In a world still grappling with violence against women, where victims are doubted, silenced, or even forgotten, the story of Maria Goretti refuses to fade. She was just 11, a farm girl in rural Italy, no wealth and no power. But what she did have was unshakable faith, fierce clarity, and a heart full of mercy. All of this left behind a legacy that the world still leans on today. Maria is remembered as the patron saint of purity, survivors of sexual violence and forgiveness. But she didn't become that through comfort. She earned it through blood, faith, and a choice that most wouldn't make, even in death. She was attacked by someone she trusted. Still, she fought back. And as her life slipped away, she did the unthinkable. She forgave him. But this is more than just a story of a child who died. It's the story of what came after. The miracles, the stirrings of sainthood, and the slow, astonishing change in the man who took her life. Maria's story didn't end with her death, it began there.
Maria Teresa Goretti was born on October 16, 1890, in the small farming village of Corinaldo, Italy. Her parents, Luigi Goretti and Assunta Carlini, were poor but deeply faithful sharecroppers, working the land under the oppressive Mezzadria system that kept generations of peasants in death and hardship. Maria was the third of 7 children, baptized the day after her birth in the Church of San Francisco. From her earliest years, she was surrounded by pity. Her mother, Assunta, would later recall how Maria loved to pray the rosary and would often gather her siblings to recite it together. Life was difficult. The family lived in a cramped, damp farmhouse, surviving on breads, bean, and the occasional pieces of cheese. Yet, despite their poverty, Maria radiated joy. She never attended school. Education was a luxury for peasant girls. But she learned catechism from her mother, memorizing prayers and longing for the day when she could receive her first Holy Communion. Then, a disaster struck the family. In 1899, malaria swept through the Pontine marshes, where the family had moved in search of work. Luigi Goretti, already weakened by the back-breaking labor, contracted the disease. For months, Maria cared for him, bringing him water and comforting him as he suffered. On May 6, 1900, he died, leaving Assunta a widow with 6 children. One had already died in infancy. With no means to support the family alone, Assunta entered into sharecropping partnership with Giovanni Serenelli, a widower, and his troubled 19-year-old Alessandro.
At just 9 years old, Maria took on the duties of the household, cooking, cleaning, sewing, and caring for her younger siblings, while her mother worked in the fields. Witnesses later recalled her patience, her willingness to go hungry so others could eat, and her habit of giving away her own shoes to poorer children. But beneath the surface, danger was brewing. Alessandro Serenelli, influenced by immoral reading material and his own violent tendencies, began fixating on Maria. He made crude advances, which she resisted with quiet but firm resolve, often saying, "No, Alessandro, God does not want this. It is a sin." On several occasions, he threatened her, But Maria confided only in her mother, who, fearing the consequences of accusing their landlord's son, advised Maria to avoid being alone with him. The tension grew. Then, on July 5th, 1902, the unthinkable happened.
It was a sweltering afternoon. Asunta and the other workers were in the fields. Maria, now 11, was mending a shirt in the kitchen while her baby sister slept nearby. Alessandro entered, demanding she submit to him. When she refused, he dragged her into a bedroom, holding a sharp awl used for farm work. "If you don't do what I say," he hissed, "I'll kill you." Maria, trembling but resolute, cried out, "No, it is a sin. God forbids it. You will go to hell." Enraged, Alessandro began stabbing her. 14 brutal wounds to her chest, lungs, and heart. Bleeding profusely, Maria crawled towards the door, but Alessandro locked her inside, leaving her for dead. Her little sister's cries alerted neighbors, who broke in and found Maria barely alive. A doctor was summoned, but the damage was too severe. As she was carried to the hospital in a horse-drawn cart, she whispered, "Mama, Mama." For 20 agonizing hours, Maria clung to life. A priest administered last rites, and when asked if she forgave Alessandro, she replied without hesitation, "Yes, for the love of Jesus, I forgive him, and I want him to be with me in paradise." Her final words were of concern for her mother. "Mama, do not cry. I am happy. I am going to Jesus." At 3:45 p.m. on July 6, 1902, Maria Goretti died, her small hands clutching a crucifix.
Alessandro was arrested and after a swift trial, sentenced to 30 years of hard labor. However, he showed no remorse, even mocking Maria's memory. Meanwhile, Maria was buried in a simple grave. But almost immediately, pilgrims began reporting miracles. Sick children healed, conversions sparked by her story. The local bishop opened an investigation into her sanctity. Then 6 years into his sentence, something extraordinary happened. Alessandro later testified, "One night, Maria appeared to me in my cell, dressed in white, surrounded by lilies. She smiled and handed me 14 flowers, one for each stab wound. From that moment, I was filled with remorse." He repented, confessed his sins, and spent the rest of his sentence in prayer. Upon his release in 1929, Alessandro sought out Asunta and begged forgiveness. Falling to her knees, he wept as she embraced him, saying, "Maria, forgive you. How can I not?" He later became a lay Franciscan, living a life of penance until his death in 1970.
On June 24, 1950, before a crowd of 5 lakh, the largest canonization in history at the time by Pope Pius XII, declared Maria a saint. Her mother, Asunta, was present, the first mother to witness her child's canonization. And in a moment that left the world stunned, Alessandro serenely knelt among the pilgrims, weeping as the Pope proclaimed Maria a martyr of holy purity. A shrine in Nettuno, Italy became a place of pilgrimage where countless miracles have been reported. Women healed of trauma, attackers converted, broken families reconciled. In 2003, Pope John Paul II called her the little evangelist of 20th century, a model of mercy in a violent world.
More than a century later, Maria's name is still called upon by survivors of abuse looking for strength, by parents raising children in faith, and by prisoners searching for a second chance. In a culture that dismisses purity as outdated and mercy as weakness, she remains a contradiction, a challenge. She reminds us that real love gives without taking, that forgiveness doesn't erase pain, it transforms it, that sainthood isn't about perfection, it's about choosing light even in the darkest moments. Her life, her death, and what came after still asks us the hardest questions. Can we love like Maria when it costs everything? Can we change like Alessandro when redemption feels out of reach? Can we forgive like Asunta when forgiveness feels impossible?